Hello, this is Tim Sallee, founder of the Christian Waterfowlers Association. For the next few minutes, I want to get into sharing with you some essentials for waterfowling. All of what I want to share with you today, I'm not going to get into great detail on each one of these. I'm just going to give you the basics. I have people that ask me from time to time, you know, Tim, I see that you're into duck hunting or goose hunting. What all do I need to do? How do I get involved in waterfowling? What do I need? What are some of the items that I need that are essential for me to be able to go duck hunting? So number one, you must have a license. And in many states, pretty much all states now, you have to also have a hunter's education card, and you are able to get one of those by taking a hunter's education course or class. And that varies from state to state. You know, in Arkansas, you can now take it online, but we've offered it before through a church or the CWA. We've held some hunter education classes, and so it's a must that you have that. I wasn't required to take that myself because I was born before, I think, 1968 or 67, but I went ahead and took it anyway. And you have to have that. Now, if you're 16 years, I believe it's below 16, you can still go hunting without it, but you have to have a licensed adult with you, 21-year-old. And I think they're required to have the hunter's education card also, but you need to check that out with your local Game and Fish Commission. So you'll need a hunting license, you'll need a hunter education card, along with a state duck stamp and a federal duck stamp. So that is essential. You have to have that. You don't want to go hunting without it or forget about it. You know, I've watched all these game warden TV shows, and it never fails. There's a duck hunter or somebody waterfowling, and they kind of act like they have the hunter's ed card. And let me just share with you, game wardens know. They can look it up and they can see if you're on the list or not. So don't try to get out of that. Just go ahead and take it, get out of the way. It will help you, it will benefit you. I really believe that make a difference in knowing all the rules, regulations, safety, everything that's involved with hunter's education. It's really worth your time. So take that. The second thing that I would add to the list of essentials for duck hunting, waterfowl hunting, goose hunting, whatever, is a shotgun. You're going to have a shotgun. This right here is my first ever shotgun. I purchased this probably back in 1987, somewhere in there at Walmart. And this only back then cost me, I think, it was like $150, give or take. And I looked this up today, and these are about $389. So, and it didn't look like this. This originally was the barrel was black and everything, and the stocks were walnut, so it was wood. And I had a friend of mine dip this in natural gear. But this right here has been voted the #1 shotgun in, I know, America, but it's a very popular shotgun. It holds up well. It's a pump shotgun, pump action. But it's just tough. I mean, it's a great get started shotgun. Now, if money's no big deal to you and you have money to go out and spend $1,600 on a, semi-automatic shotgun, it's whatever you want to budget in and can afford. But back then, I worked and saved up for this, and it served me well. My son now hunts with that, but it's a great backup gun for myself, and we also use it for turkey hunting. So it's more than just waterfowling. But you have to have a shotgun, and you can go check out all the details on those, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, whatever your preference is on that. Something else that is essential to duck hunting is a duck call. Again, I probably will take and break down all of these individual items in a separate video and talk about each one. But for the sake of time today, I'm not going to get in all of the details on each one of these. But when I first started duck hunting over 30 years ago, it's probably 36, 37 years ago, there weren't that many call makers back then. You had some of the main ones. The young man that invited me to go duck hunting and introduced me to waterfowling, he was he was using an R&T back then. But he recommended, because of my budget and everything, that I just purchase a Jensen Sure Shot. So that's what I first started with. I think it was 14 bucks back then. It wasn't very expensive, but today to get a good wood call, probably going to cost around $75, $80. And acrylic they go for anywhere from $120 to $140. People ask me, well, what about a single reed or a double reed? Well, I didn't really start on a single reed. I actually used that Jensen, which was a double reed. But if you can start on a single reed and get control of it, and that's what you learn on and you're used to, I really recommend a single reed. It's really good. You can do a lot with a single reed. Double reed, to me, and that's what I mainly use, actually, is, I guess it's because now I can blow a single reed, but I just like the sound of a double reed. It's just my preference. It sounds, just more ducky. So, but I have a lot of calls. I'm not going to get into all the different specifics about these calls today, but down through the years, we've had some great friends of the CWA. One of those friends was George Lynch, and he's made some calls for us. We don't have these any longer, but this is a double reed here. It actually has a scripture on it, and also the companion to that is a Canada goose call. But you can go and buy wood, acrylic. They all have their different sounds, and you can utilize them different ways, whether you're hunting timber, flooded timber, or out in the marsh or whatever. One of my favorite calls I go to right now is made by Refuge. I really like this call. I don't even remember which one this is. They make about 3 or 4, but Buster Hoser presented that to me from Living Loud Outdoors. I appreciate that, Buster. There are all kinds of, some people prefer only wood. Some people prefer acrylic. It's just personal preference. And down through the years, you will, as you gain experience, you'll kind of learn what you like and what you don't like. This is a whistle. This is made by Aaron Wingard up in Kansas City area. And this, you can do all kinds of things with this. Mallard Drake, you can pintail, widgeon, teal. It's just a good whistle call. So you're going to need a good call, and that kind of gives you some basics on, just starting out. I know Butch Richenbach, when he was still alive, he used to have a call that was part wood and part, is a composite plastic back then, but it still sounded really good. It's kind of a hunter call, and there's still calls like that today. Call these guys. As a matter of fact, I may put their links in the description. Mike Stelzner from up in Minnesota, CNS call. They make a great call. There's just so many calls today. I'm gonna leave out somebody. They're gonna hear about this, and I'm sorry, but there's a lot of great calls. Call them up. Say, hey, I'm getting started. I want to get started into duck hunting. What's a good call for me? And they can recommend one. Brad Allen, Elite Calls, really a great friend of the CWA. Call Brad, and he's a 3-time world duck calling champion. Just phenomenal caller. Those guys know. They're even a lot better caller than I am, and they can help you find your first call. So that's an essential part of duck or goose hunting, depending on what you're wanting to get into. Something else that I want to go ahead and throw this in here, because I don't want to forget this. This is not so much an essential, and I say that because when I first started duck hunting, I didn't really have any camo. I actually borrowed my friend. They had a Columbia jacket that was camo. They had some waders. Waders used to not be camo. They were all solid color back then. They were red balls, a canvas type wader. And then we went to neoprene, and then now we have all the fancy high-tech waders that are $1,000. But camouflage, the hide is more important than what you're wearing. And if what you're wearing, if you have good camo, then it's easier to hide. But just good natural neutral colors. I look out back here, there's always deer right here, and they don't wear the latest camo. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they just brown, their hair is just naturally brown and blends in. You don't even know they're there when they're still. So good neutral clothes. Camouflage is not essential. It's not an essential item. You don't have to have it. You can wear just plain clothes as long as you're hidden well, as long as you're going to be in a blind, or maybe you're hunting out of a layout blind if you're field hunting or whatever. But good camouflage does help. It does help you hide. But I'm not going to put that in the essential list, because you can go duck hunting as long as you have a good hide, as long as you're in a pair of waders, and that's what we're going to talk about next. A good pair of waders, and this is personal preference. I happen to use Frog Togs all these years because we're friends with them, and they've been good to the CWA, and always they place an ad in our magazine, and I just use their gear. I can't hardly hold this up in front of the camera, but they have several models to choose from. They've even come out with some newer models, but these are all breathable. I love these waders. They're lightweight. They have zip in and out liners, and they hold up really well. A good friend of ours came out with a new company, Dirty's Outerwear, Glenn Cunningham. He's a part of that company, and I don't have their waders yet, but they look really good. And the cool thing about them is they're going to give you some of the same benefits as the $1,000 waders, only for $600. Now, I'm not knocking the new companies like Shin and Sitka and all that have $1,000 waders. If you have the money and you want to spend $1,000 and you like their warranty, you like the style, the look, the reviews on how good they are, then that's great. Go for it. I've just always been a little bit more budget minded from what I was able to afford, and so some of these are, these companies is what I've used, and we partnered with them, and they've really helped us. So anyway, there are all kinds of waders now, but if you're going to hunt and water, you're going to need a good pair of waders. That's a great investment. If you're going to hunt flooded timber, you don't really need per se chest waders unless you want the added warmth or something like that. It depends on how deep the water is. Sometimes you do need chest waders hunting flooded timber. Sometimes the water is only shin deep. It's not very deep. You could wear waist high waders, and then if you're field hunting, you don't need waders at all. You can just wear muck boots or something like that. That's what I use. So that will be an investment that you'll need to look at when it comes to duck hunting, especially if you're going to hunt out of a boat, out on the river, or marsh areas. To get to those areas, sometimes it can be waist deep, so you're going to need a good pair of waders. The next item that you're going to need is a decoy, and I'm just going to feature this one. This is not a duck decoy, but this is actually a working goose decoy. This is a custom decoy. This is handmade. I love this decoy. It's has our logo there, and this was part of the deep for it. Amos Chase over in Oklahoma made this for me, presented it to me. But you're going to need some decoys. It's essential, unless you find the spot they want to be and you can sneak in and hide on the bank somewhere and know they're coming anyway, then you probably wouldn't need any decoys. But to coax the ducks on in, you need some good decoys. And you may not be able to afford all custom made decoys like that decoy. Maybe I first started out with flambeau decoys. They were, inexpensive. They were budget minded, or budget friendly for those that really didn't have a ton of money for decoys. And I first started with maybe 3 or 4 dozen. And some I think I ordered from Cabela's, and the rest at Walmart, all flambeau. Again, you've got a lot better selection today than I did. So there's all kinds of companies now, and if you're big on American made, then there's G&H decoys. But the decoy makers today, they're doing a great job with great designs. They're making these new decoys seem like they're really lifelike, and the color and the texture on, just everything about them, the details. I know Tangle Free Decoys has been good to the CWA. We've used their decoys. Matthew Cagle, Rig 'em Right Waterfowl, friend of the CWA, he has decoys now. Check those out, all of his gear. You're going to need cases, bags, all of those accessories for your decoys, and they make all of those. They sell those. There's a new decoy that I haven't tried personally. I know my friend Aaron Adams, board member of the CWA, he hunts with these now, and actually this company attended our festival. It was Lifetime back then, but now it's Heyday. And they're going to be running an ad in our next magazine that's coming out. And so I'm going to be able to hunt or use some of these some of their latest decoys coming up this next hunting season. They're really lightweight. They're really awesome to be able to pack in. If you're concerned about all the extra weight in your boat, just another alternative. Again, it's a lightweight decoy. By the time you put the weight on there, it's still not too heavy. And you know, I have sold. I don't have a boat any longer. I go with some of my friends. I don't even have a dog anymore. Our dog passed away. But I now am kind of changed my way of hunting, and you know, I try to get in a good quality hunt or two every year with some people, trying to introduce someone to duck hunting that's new that way. So the way I do things have changed a little bit. Instead of getting out on the river like I used to, unless I'm with my friend, I might walk into the refuge. I might find a place where there's not a lot of people around. I can just walk in there. So I want to carry light, everything that I have. And that comes down to my blind bag. You don't want to be trying to carry all of this weight when you walk in. Again, it just depends on what your setup is. If you have a boat, that can carry. If you have an ATV, you can load everything on that and take it out. I love a bag like this as far as bags. Now, this is a Wren and Ivy bag. It's called a Diddy bag. What I love about this bag is it's not big and it's not small. It's just right. You can carry all your shells, your accessories, whatever you're going to need for the hunt. You can. This also comes with some duck straps that you can attach to the strap on it. But you can carry that in, and what's awesome about it is it's not just big and bulky. And if you're especially hunting out of a layout blind, you can carry it into the field, fits right in your layout blind or right there behind you. You can store it easily. So those are just some ideas and things. I have all kinds of bags. I have big blind bags that I know I'm going to ride out to the blind. I need more gear. I can store it in there. But when it comes to walking, when it comes to you know, being concerned about carrying everything, I'm going to lighten the load. So decoys, I can lighten the load. With those new decoys, I can carry a smaller bag, carry just the essentials out to the blind. So those things are all important. You have to have a duck hunting license, a hunter education card, your duck stamp, your state and your federal. That's essential. You're going to need a shotgun to be able to go hunt ducks or geese, whatever you're wanting to hunt. You're going to need a duck call or a goose call. You're going to have you know, all kinds of options out there available now to choose the right duck call. And we'll go into an individual video just on duck calls or goose calls in the future. You're going to need some good clothing to wear. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be camouflage because there's all kinds now. You know, just good natural, neutral colors would be great. You're going to need a pair of waders. If you're going to be out on the river, out in the marsh, you will need waders. So invest in a good pair of waders, or you may need waist high waders, or just some good muck boots or some kind of a boot that's waterproof that you can get out to the field with in the mud, and it's going to protect your feet and keep you warm. And you're going to need some gear. You're going to need some accessories, something to haul those decoys in. You're going to need a blind bag. So you put all these things. Again, these are just the essentials. I'm not going to get heavily, you know, in detail on all of these things today. We're going to break these down individually and do some other tip videos for you. But anyway, that's the essential gear for waterfowlers. And I want to invite you to do something right here before we close. I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel. In just a moment, you'll see the logo come up, and when you click on it, it'll have a subscribe button appear. And please subscribe to our channel, like these videos, comment on these videos. If maybe I left something out that you can remember, please add it to the comment for us, and invite all of your friends to the channel. And all of the website information, everything that I've talked about today, I'll put some links in the description. You can check out all of our social media. All of that's in the description, so check that out. Until next time, have a great week. God bless.